Hey guys, so I was gonna try to work on something more highbrow today, like another PS5 game review, but I received such shocking news this morning when I woke up that writer and artist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kazuki Takahashi has died. And what's really weird for me, the reason I'm making this YouTube video, is I have lived in Japan for about a decade, and so I'm very tuned into both the American news sources and the Japanese news sources. But I'm seeing with this story, there's a shocking difference between the way his death is being depicted and swallowed up by both countries. So let me get into that later, because that's a whole another mental gymnastics I have to do with myself. Before I get into all that, I gotta grieve first, because I'm honestly feeling a loss from this. Let me just kind of ride this wave I'm on with you guys as I'm experiencing it today. I know a lot of people who subscribe to my channel are huge Yu-Gi-Oh card game fans. You guys bring it up all the time. I myself, I've actually never played the card game, but I'm a huge fan of the original manga and anime, even though I never got into the card game myself. See, I loved the first manga. I read the manga when it came out in the US, but somewhere along the line I kind of zoned off of all the sequel spin-offs, somewhere between the card game Harry Potter or the card game on motorcycles. So, let me just speak personally from my heart about all the good memories I had with Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was a teenager, I loved the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga because this shit was dark as fuck. Up until then, I had read Pokemon, I'd seen some dark anime, but I just loved the single premise of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga, that this nerdy, repressed Japanese teenager with nothing going on suddenly gets possessed by this lawless ghost of an Egyptian king and just starts going around murdering those who commit evil with these twisted mind games that test their character. Fuck, that's so good. You know what? Netflix, those fucking assholes just announced that they're remaking Death Note again. Fuck that shit. Give me live action Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. I want to see American Yami Yugi lighting some punks on fire. Anyway, so a few years after that, the stupid anime came out on Kids WB, and I was very meh at the time because it was done by 4 kids who fucked it up and turned all the guns into walkie-talkies, but fuck it. I still have some very good memories of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay. Here's my best Yu-Gi-Oh! Related memory. So right after I graduated high school, a bunch of my friends and I got in this kind of rut where we just started going to Chinese buffets and picking out and relaxing to have our own space and talk and whatever. So eventually the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie comes out and my friend is like, yo, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is stupid, let's go see that stupid movie. And my other friend is like, nah man, let's go to the Chinese buffet and pig out. And so somehow along the way we just decided to do something that handled both problems in a way that was much more epic. So what we did was we went to a normal Chinese restaurant and we bought as much fucking takeout Chinese food as we could carry with our teenage lives, and we stuffed it into our clothes. We wore ridiculous coats, and even though it was fucking summer, we wore these huge ass coats and we proceeded to sneak into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie with fucking 40 pounds of Chinese food. And then we made our own Chinese buffet in the middle of the theater because no one else was watching that movie, and that movie was just so fucking dumb. I remember there was a part in it where the villain in the movie was just this roided out naked dude who looked like fucking Mickey Rourke. He had steroids and veins and everything. And anyway, at one point he just fucking body slams Kaiba into a wall and he's fucking bare ass naked the entire time. And my friends were just sitting there laughing our asses off, being like, what the fuck is this shit? We're dropping Chinese rice everywhere. A good time is being had by all. So yeah. That might have been the end of my good Yu-Gi-Oh! Memories, but then I went to college and a dude from England started making this show called Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged Series. This dude was later Lil Karibo, and he kept the memory alive of how fucking stupid Yu-Gi-Oh! Was as an anime. And to this day, I still stand by the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged Series is a work of perfect art. I really hope that Lil Karibo finishes that thing someday because he's been working on it for fucking 20 years. And he's still releasing episodes, and my god, how is he not finished yet? I saw Murren at Con once. I really hope he's doing okay. Anyway, so, like I said this morning, I woke up to a bunch of different news articles in the US being like, oh my god, no, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator died. And all the articles in the US were very respectful of his work, his collaboration with American artists, the fact that he struggled to become a mangaka and never really had a success until Yu-Gi-Oh! And then when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a success, he fully designed the card game from a simple plot line into a real card game that sold cards, took off like hotcakes, and all in all, the dude had a wonderful, great life. He was very successful. Also, very interesting side note. So, there's this new Spider-Man Iron Man book that just came out called Secret Reverse. I've seen this thing in the comic book shop for like the past 2 months and I never touched it. Apparently, Takahashi wrote this, which it says very blatantly on the cover, which I didn't really look at that closely up till now. And the premise of this story is that Spider-Man and Iron Man are teaming up to stop a completely average Yu-Gi-Oh! Villain with a complete card game-based world domination scheme, and that's hilarious. That's actually exactly what I would expect from this man, so I think I might actually read that now, because that sounds kind of funny. Anyway, but now I need to talk about the difference in perception between the way he died in the US and the way he died in Japan. Now, this morning I saw like a bunch of different articles about his death, and what stopped me cold was the first Japanese article about his death, because the tone was so completely different. It was so different that while I kind of like browsed over the American articles and I was like very sad, yes, the Japanese article actually stopped me in my tracks and made me go, the fuck? By and large, most of the Western media is focusing on the fact that he died. It's a tragedy. He was a great man. He made us happy. The Western articles on his death are a celebration of his life and are full of nice sentiments and wishes. And yeah, that's cool. Like you can see on Kotaku, they just have a simple headline saying the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Has died. It's very sad, that's all you need. Now I want to contrast that to the Japanese headline. Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator's dead body found floating off the coast of Okinawa. In Japan, they're not writing articles celebrating the man's life. They're writing articles scrutinizing and kind of mulling over the mystery of his death. So let's go through this one. 10:30 a.m. Wednesday. It's the morning off the coast of Okinawa. Okay, yeah, so this is yesterday morning. I know where I was yesterday morning. A leisure business boat operator spots a dead body floating approximately 1 mile off the coast of the city of Nago, Japan. The police identify this body as Kazuki Takahashi. Bad news, everybody, that's Kazuki Takahashi. Changed one syllable of his name to be an author so he wouldn't get like spam mail sent to his house. So anyway, as it turns out, the police were looking for him because he rented a car from a rental car company and he never returned it, so he's in trouble for that. And they've been trying to get the car back, but he hasn't been answering his cell phone. Now, then they go into a little bit more detail about the way this dude died. And on top of that, they kind of like a little bit shame him for being like a middle-aged bachelor, because as far as I can tell, despite all the successes in his life, the dude sounds like he was a little bit isolated. It sounds like he didn't have that many friends. And as far as I can tell from a quick Google search, he was not married and he did not have a girlfriend. So anyway, Kazuki this summer decided to go on vacation in Okinawa. Okinawa is basically Japan's Hawaii. It's considered the most beautiful island in Japan. And while he's on vacation there, he decides, fuck it, there's not that much to do there. He's going to go scuba diving because the water is so beautiful there. So he goes scuba diving by himself, and because he's alone, there's a minor mishap in his scuba diving. We don't know what it is, but whatever it was led to his death. Now, I love the ocean. I've always wanted to learn how to do scuba diving, but in my opinion, scuba diving is one of the easiest ways for a person to die. I always hear these nightmare stories about a bunch of friends went out scuba diving, but 2 of them didn't make it back because they didn't check how much oxygen they had in their oxygen tanks, and they died. Your friend was here 5 minutes ago, but guess what? They only had 4 minutes worth of oxygen in their tank, and now they're dead forever. And yeah, so now Kazuki-sensei is dead forever. Just fucking gone. If you take nothing away from this story, please never go scuba diving by yourself. always go with a friend. If anything goes wrong, you need to have a buddy there to save your fucking ass. So, adding insult to injury, the Japanese article also mentions in gruesome detail that by the time they recovered Takahashi Sensei's body, he'd probably been dead for about 2 days. His pants were gone, and his body had been partially eaten by sharks. Yuck. Man. Well, that's that. Sorry to end things on a sorry note, but that's kind of the experience I've had with this, so now you've had it too. Man, life is crazy. Alright, anyway, Takahashi Sensei will be greatly missed. I cannot... Man, I just had some really good times reading YuGiOh as a kid. Like, all the fun stories, all the stupid stories. I don't know, like, something about those friends, they felt like my friends. So, I feel like I've lost a friend today. Anyway, please subscribe. Sometimes I tell stories. Later, guys.